We are going to discuss the poem My Mother at 66, and it is written by Kamala Das. Kamala Das, she is an Indian poet, and she is also novelist and also some uh, stories, writer of stories, and then some, and also she wrote poems in English. So this poem, My Mother at 66, when we see in a common sense, the poet, she describes her mother when she was at the age of 66, or we can say she was at that time old. So here actually he the poet refers a personal experience, though she brings out a common paradox. पैराडॉक्स कहते हैं तजाद, जिसको हम कंट्राडिक्शन कहते हैं इन ह्यूमन रिलेशनशिप. Sometimes we do feel deeply for someone, but we fail to express it in a proper manner. And now the poem. From lines 1 to 5. 1 to 5. Driving from my parents' home. My parents' home. My here refers to Kamala Das, and parents' home means from parents' home to Cochin. Cochin is a place. A place. Last Friday morning. The poet says that last Friday morning I was driving from my parent place to Cochin. I saw my mother beside me. So when the poet, she was driving, mother was beside her. Beside means on one side, एक तरफ. माँ भी बैठी हुई थी. जिस गाड़ी में पोइट ड्राइव कर रही थी, तो वहां पर उसकी माँ भी एक साइड में बैठी हुई थी. Doze. And doze means to deep, lightly for a short, to sleep. To sleep lightly for some time. For some time. Ashen. Beside me, doors open mouthed. This mouth was open. Her face ashen. Ashen means very pale. Pale. Without color because of illness. Because of illness. illness, and we can say also or old age. Like that of a corpse. Corpse means dead body. And realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. So, now the point says that once or last Friday, when I was driving from my this parental home to Cochin, so my mother was also beside me. So, but when the point looked towards her mother, and she saw that her face it was faded. Its color was faded because of illness or old age, and she looked like a dead body, and realized with pain that she was as old as looked. A painful thought came to the poet's mind. She realized that her mother was looking as old as she was. There, so the poet, she became gloomy. She grieved over it. She became sad because of the illness and of the old age of her mother. So this is the first sentence. The poet who drives her car, who was driving her car, and mother was beside her. But when she looked towards her mother, she realized that her mother was pale, her color had become faded because of illness or old age, and the poet says that she looked just like a dead body, and a pain. I realized some kind of a pain that my mother was now too old. Now the second sentence of the poem. The second sentence of the poem from 5 to 10. Lines from 5 to 10. But soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees, sprinting, the merry children spailing out of their homes, but after the airport security check standing a few yards away, I looked again. The poet now says, now I removed the thought of my mother's. When I was thinking, when she looked towards the mother and she was thinking about her old age, about her illness, he says that I removed this thought and looked outside my car. And what she saw, she says that put that thought away, turned her mind away from that thought, and sprint. Sprint means running very fast. The merry children. Merry means happy. The merry children spailing. Spailing means coming out in large numbers. In large numbers. Out of their homes, but after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her. So the poet says that for some time I removed the thought about my mother. And when I removed the thought and I looked outside, what I saw that looked at young trees sprinting कहते हैं when we are going to drive a car or when we are traveling in any bus or car, that the trees, they are going fast backwards, and she says that they were running very fast. And not only this, and I saw also the children, they were very happy, their faces were very happy. They shown their faces, they are shown very bright. They come in a large number from their houses. And it means that the poet now enjoyed for some time the outside world, and she says out of their homes, but after the airport security check. And now the poet, she reached airport, and after security check, she says that standing a few yards, I stood a few yards away from my mother, and I looked again at her. Look at her here refers to the poet's mother. So in these lines, from line number 1 to 5, we read about that poet. The poet, she was driving a car from her parents' home towards Cochin, and her mother was beside her. So after that, what happened to her when she looked to her mother, and she saw that her mother's face, it was colorless, faded, and not only this, and she says she was dozing and mouth was open. And now what happened to her? And the poet says that her mother looked like a dead body, and she says that, and realized it, and I realized it, and with pain, and I became very painful, and that my mother had and now became old. After this, the poet says that for some time I removed the thought about my mother. I looked outside from my car when I saw that the trees, they were running very fast, and children with pleasure came out from their houses in a large number. And then she says, after security check, when I reached this airport, after security check, I stood away from my mother and looked towards her. Thanks.